Day 12 began with something the observers hadn't experienced since they arrived. Quiet. The pipe had gone silent on day 11. The conduit had frozen at 02:20. The console, that ever-humming presence in the corner, had gone dark with a single word scratched into its housing. Threshold. After 11 days of the structure constantly performing at them, it had simply stopped. And the observers, not sure what else to do, went back to the atrium. That's when Marcus took off his shoes. He wanted to feel it directly, the warm circle on the floor, the one that had been growing since the beginning. He stepped to its edge in bare feet and confirmed what the instruments had been telling them. Warm, not hot. He described it with precision, the temperature of skin after sleep. Then he lay down in the center, looked up, and for the first time in 12 days, really looked at the ceiling. Concentric rings, faint, evenly spaced, widening outward in a spiral. At the exact center, directly above his spine, a single dark point. A mark. Deliberate. A floor's mirror image, hanging overhead since day 1. Nobody had looked up because they were all looking down. It's a small thing, maybe. A posture. But there's something quietly significant about the fact that these 5 people, trained to observe and document, had spent nearly 2 weeks cataloguing every mark on every surface and simply hadn't tilted their heads back. The structure had been symmetrical the whole time. The ceiling had always been answering the floor. And through the stone beneath him, Marcus felt a rhythm, slow, steady, the same cadence he'd noted in the sealed 6 alcove, in the engine room before it went cold. A heartbeat. His conclusion, stated plainly, the pipe and conduit and wall transformations were noise. Beautiful, measurable noise. On day 11 the noise stopped. The signal remained. Elsewhere in the structure, the others were finding their own version of the same message. Maya returned to the airlock hatch and found it wiped clean. The 5-line condensation staff that had appeared on day 9, replaced by a single warm vertical seam. Simpler, more final. Theo went into the maintenance tunnels for the first time, followed the passage past Marcus's chalk mark into the new territory, and found the walls indistinguishable from skin, warm as a wrist. The tunnel curves left around something he couldn't see. Whatever the structure is, it has a center it's been quietly building toward. And then there was Claire, standing in front of drawer 13, the solitary eye, still warm. 12 days in, and while everything else had gone through cycles of transformation and withdrawal, this one letter just sat there, patient, she said, like it wasn't waiting for something to happen, like whatever it was pointing to had already happened, and the warmth was just the afterglow. But what stopped her wasn't the eye. It was drawer 15. It said Theo now, complete, in handwriting that wasn't Theo's. Claire remembered when it was just a T. Day 8, unfinished, and now it was done, completed by something that hadn't asked. Theo didn't get a say in it. She wrote a letter that day, addressed to the outside world, built around the newspaper signal, the one carrying dispatches from a war. A school full of girls hit by a missile. 700,000 people told to leave their homes. Practically nothing left to bomb, one dispatch read, while the death count climbed. An operation with no time limit, declared alongside assurances it would end soon. 2 kinds of destruction failing to communicate. She found the contradiction impossible to hold and impossible to put down. And here is where the day gets strange, or stranger at any rate. Marcus, barefoot in the warm circle, looking up at rings on the ceiling, was fully aware that 1,200 people had died that day. He held both things at once. The tenderness of pressing his bare feet against warm stone, the intimacy of lying down in the center of something that felt designed to receive him. And outside, a school, a missile, a number large enough to stop language. The structure was built for a crowd that never arrived, he said. Or hasn't arrived yet. Claire ended her letter with a question she didn't try to answer. Not about the war. About this place. Who organized this place? Not the drawers, the sequence. Someone decided 13 comes before 15. Someone decided the eye gets warmth, and Theo gets completion, and Maya gets a shape that fits her hand. There's an order here that isn't ours. What the observers have been calling the signal, the transformations, the drawers, the warm circle, they've mostly been treating it as something to decode, a message to interpret. But Claire, staring at Theo's name written in a hand that isn't his, is asking a different question. Not what is it saying? Who decided what each person gets? That's a harder question. And on day 12, standing in the quiet, the machinery left behind, it's the one that lingers.